So there I was, hitting 35 and thinking I had life all figured out. Then bam, this 18-year-old kid comes along and totally flips my world upside down. Let me tell you what went down on this crazy summer evening. Picture this. I'm just chilling with my usual coffee, that fancy espresso I can't live without, when the universe decides to throw me a curveball. The air was all summery and nice, smelling like fresh-cut grass, and the sky was doing this whole orange sunset thing. Pretty normal day, right? Wrong. So I walk out of the coffee shop, and there he is, this guy just casually hanging out by the street lamp like he owns the place. Arms crossed, looking all cool and mysterious. And let me tell you, there was something about him that just grabbed your attention, Like, he had this vibe that was impossible to ignore. Super chill, but with these intense eyes that felt like they could read your mind. Here's the kicker. Dude couldn't have been more than 18. But wow, did he carry himself like someone who had it all figured out? I tried not to be obvious about staring, totally failed at that. But there was just something about him that pulled you in. Maybe it was his hair catching the sunlight just right, or that jawline that belonged on a magazine cover. Or maybe it was just how he stood there, all confident but not trying too hard. Whatever it was, it hit me right in the feels. Gave me butterflies I hadn't felt since forever. Next thing I know, he catches me looking and flashes this smile that practically stopped traffic. Then he starts walking over, cue internal panic, and goes, "Excuse me," in this super smooth voice. Got the time? My brain basically short-circuited. Like, how do you even read a watch again? 6:15. I managed to squeak out. And then he hits me with this perfect, and this smile that could melt ice. Supposed to meet someone, but I'm early. Mind if I keep you company? Okay, so I probably should have just bounced. But honestly, this guy was like a magnet and I totally fell for it. We ended up hanging out on this super comfy bench by the coffee shop, with the evening vibes just wrapping around us. He goes, "I'm Aaron," and next thing you know, we're spilling our whole life stories. This dude's got these wild dreams. He's all about drawing places he's never seen and wants to travel everywhere. And man, he was just so real, Before I knew it, I'm blabbing about my own music dreams and all that deep stuff about feeling stuck in life. "You're pretty cool," he said, just chilling on the bench with this playful look in his eyes. "Everyone else here is so boring, but you've got something special." I had to laugh. Like, what do you even say to that? "Special how?" "Just different," he said, giving me this look. Like you've got some epic story to tell but you're too chicken to share it. Oof, that hit different. Like, yeah, he's young, but dang if he didn't read me like a book. After hanging for like an hour, it was pretty obvious his friend wasn't showing up, if they even existed, TBH. He's like, "Well, looks like I got ditched," with this fake sad face. "Guess I need a plan B for tonight." The way he said it was totally fishing for something, and I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted. My brain was screaming run. But then he did this cute head tilt thing with that smile and I was toast. "You're free, right?" he asked, trying to sound casual, but those eyes said everything. "Let's get some food on me." And just like that, we're at this tiny diner that's basically empty, one of those places frozen in time. We split some fries and chatted like we'd known each other forever. Aaron just had this way about him that made you feel like the star of the show. He opened up about hating small-town life and feeling trapped, dreaming about escaping to the big city. When he talked about his dreams, it was like watching a movie in your head. "Ever feel like you're just existing?" he asked, getting all deep and vulnerable. "Like there's this whole world out there, but you're stuck in replay mode?" "Yeah," I said, surprising myself with how real I got. Everyone feels that sometimes. He gave me this tiny smile that hit different. Maybe, but most people just accept it. Those words just hung there, heavy. I had to look at my coffee because I couldn't handle his eyes anymore. He had this way of cutting straight through all the BS that just left you feeling naked, "What made you give up on your dreams?" he asked, all gentle but still getting right to the point. "Why'd you stop?" I didn't know what to say, so I just mumbled something about life and responsibilities. He didn't push it, but his face said he wasn't buying what I was selling. As we kept talking, I totally forgot about our age gap and the whole stranger danger thing. It just felt, right? Natural? When we left, Everything was super quiet except for the buzzing streetlights. He walked me to my car, hands in his pockets, looking all thoughtful and stuff. When we got to my car, he leaned against it, looking right at me. "Thanks for hanging," he said super soft. "I really needed this tonight." "Same here," I whispered back. We just stood there for a sec, and there was this crazy tension in the air. Like, was I imagining it? But the way he was looking at me had my heart doing backflips. Then he hit me with that same troublemaker smile from earlier. "Catch you later," he said, backing up with his hands deeper in his pockets. I watched him disappear into the shadows, feeling both relieved and kinda bummed. Driving home, I kept hearing him say, "It's never too late." But I knew this wasn't over. Something changed that night, something I couldn't really explain, and deep down I knew we were just getting started. I couldn't get that night out of my head. The way his smile lasted a bit too long, those eyes that lit up the dark, and all that unspoken stuff between us when he left. It was driving me crazy. Like, I barely knew this guy, but he got under my skin like nobody else ever had. I kept telling myself it was just some random thing that I'd forget about, but days went by and he was still stuck in my head like a catchy song. By the end of the week, I was like, okay, time to move on, and then boom, there he was again. So I'm leaving the grocery store, juggling my bags, when I hear, "Hey, stranger." There he is, all casual against the wall, arms crossed, with this little smirk on his face. He looked even more chill this time. Hair all messy cute and his shirt doing this whole off-the-shoulder thing. "You stalking me?" I joked, but my heart was racing. "Maybe," he said with this little shrug and bigger grin, "or I just got perfect timing." I tried to play it cool with an eye roll, but I couldn't help smiling. "What's up?" "Oh, just waiting for you." He got closer, eyes locked on mine. Funny how the universe works, right? I laughed all nervous-like, shifting my grocery bag around. "If you say so." "Here, let me help," he said, grabbing the bag before I could stop him. Our fingers touched, and I swear I felt sparks. "I got it," I stammered, but he was already walking ahead like it was nothing. "Come on," he called back. "I'll walk you to your car." I followed him, heart going crazy in my chest. He just moved with this confidence that was totally hypnotic. At my car, he put the bag down and leaned on the trunk, just watching me. "What's the real reason you're here?" I asked super quiet. He tilted his head, giving me this look that made my stomach do flips. "Maybe I just wanted to see you again." I tried to say something, but the words got stuck. There was something in his voice, something so honest it left me speechless. "You're different," he said, getting all soft. "Most people just walk by, but you actually get me, you know?" I couldn't help but feel all warm and fuzzy inside. "Aaron, wait." But he wasn't having it. He stepped closer, those eyes of his locked on mine as the gap between us got smaller and smaller. "Hey, don't stress about it. Go with the flow." And bam, just like that, he kissed me. Super quick, kinda shy-like, but wow, it totally made my head spin. His lips were so soft and sweet, and for a sec, all my worries just vanished. He pulled back and checked my face, waiting to see what I'd do. "I probably shouldn't," I started, but even I could tell I was just making excuses. "Says who?" he whispered. "Because I'm young? Because it feels wrong? Or 'cause you're freaking out?" I had to look away. "It's not that easy. Life's messy," he shot back, cool as a cucumber. "But that doesn't mean you gotta run and hide." Oof, right in the feels. He nailed it. I was totally scared. Scared about what this meant, what everyone would think. Scared of feeling stuff I hadn't let myself feel in forever. But mostly, I was scared of him. How he just bulldozed through all my carefully built walls like they were made of paper. "Come on, let me in," he said, barely above a whisper. "Just for now." I couldn't say anything, but my face must have given me away, 'cause he flashed this little victory smile that made me weak in the knees. Next thing I knew, we're cruising around town in my car, chatting about everything and nothing. But man, you could cut the tension with a knife. The sun was doing its gorgeous sunset thing, painting everything purple and gold, when Aaron leaned back in his seat. "You ever feel like you're living someone else's story?" he asked, sounding all deep and mysterious. "Yeah, totally." I blurted out, surprising myself with how real I got. He turned to look at me with this unreadable expression. So why not switch it up? It's not that simple, I said, gripping the wheel tighter. Sure it is, he pushed back. Just figure out what you want and go get it. Those words stuck with me way after I dropped him off. I kept telling myself this was it. No more getting tangled up in whatever this was. But there I was the next day, hanging around the coffee shop like a total stalker, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. When he showed up with that knowing grin, like he knew I'd be there waiting, I was toast. After that, we started meeting up more and more, sneaking an hour here, a late-night drive there. We never got deep about what it all meant or where it was heading. We just rolled with it. But every day, the vibe between us got more intense, like we were just waiting for something to snap. Then one night, while we're parked at the edge of town with all the city lights twinkling in the distance, he reached over and put his hand on mine. Such a tiny thing, but holy moly, my heart went crazy. No need to be scared, he said, super chill. I'm sticking around. I looked at him, my mouth crazy dry. Aaron, we can't. Nope, he cut me off. Stop overthinking everything. Just be here, right now, with me. Then bam. He kissed me again. Not like before, though. This one was super intense, like fireworks going off in tents. I couldn't help but grab his face and pull him closer. Everything else just disappeared, you know? But man, this was some heavy stuff we were getting into. Hey, he whispered, looking right into my eyes with this super vulnerable look. You feel this too, right? Yeah, I do. Cool, so stop running, he said, still holding my hand. We'll figure it out, okay? I just nodded, my heart doing backflips. No clue where this was heading. But right then, I didn't care. This guy was something else. The way he smiled, how he touched me, how he was so sure about us. That was all that mattered. But driving home? Reality hit me like a truck. This wasn't just some random thing. This could totally flip my whole life upside down. Deep down, I knew things were gonna get messy. Boy, was I right about that one. The more I hung out with Aaron, the harder it got to keep my cool. What started as just hanging out turned into something way deeper. Something that had me totally confused but totally hooked. One minute I'd be like, this is crazy, and the next I'd be rushing to see him again. He had me wrapped around his finger, and I couldn't do anything about it. So this one night, when summer was chilling out and fall was starting to creep in, Aaron called me up. He sounded normal, but something was off. Hey, can you come over? He asked. Need to talk. Simple words, but they made my stomach drop. I grabbed my keys and headed over, the drive feeling like it took forever. Found him chilling on his front steps, looking up at the stars. The porch light was doing this thing where it made his face look extra dramatic. You're thinking too hard, I joked, trying to keep things light. He cracked a tiny smile. Maybe. I plopped down next to him. We just sat there for a bit, quiet but not awkward. Then he turned to me, looking super serious. Look, he said, all quiet but firm. I need to know if this is real. Where do you stand? My throat went dry. Aaron, it's complicated. No, it's not, he cut in, staring me down. Either you're in or you're out. Stop treating me like some kid. I know what I want. Do you? Oof, that hit hard. Made me face all the stuff I'd been avoiding. Being around him was like this crazy rush, but I never let myself think about what it all meant. Now I had to. It means a lot, I whispered. Like, more than I can say. His face softened up for the first time that night. He reached over and touched my hand. Instant butterflies. Then stop fighting it, he said, super chill. Stop acting like it's wrong, 'cause it doesn't feel wrong to me. I couldn't even argue. Not with him looking at me like that. Not when everything inside me was screaming to just go for it. Next thing I knew, I was kissing him, all desperate and soft at the same time. He jumped right in, hands on my face, pulling me closer. Everything else just disappeared. His touch was like electricity, his kisses making me feel things I hadn't felt in forever. For once, I felt totally alive. When we finally came up for air, he kept his forehead against mine, breathing all warm on my face. Been wanting to do that all day, he said with this cute little grin. I laughed, keeping my hands on his shoulders. You're such a pain. You know that? Yeah, he grinned bigger. But you dig it. Couldn't argue with that one. All those lines I'd drawn? Gone. Totally gone. The thought of walking away now? No way. But even though I wanted to stay in this perfect moment forever, I knew we had stuff to deal with. We should probably talk about this, I said nervously. Like, what we're doing and stuff. Hey, he said with a grin. Come check out my place. The house was pretty chill inside, nice and cool. We ended up in his room, which smelled like that fancy cologne he always wears. The place was super neat, way neater than my room, honestly, with just enough stuff to make it feel like him. I spotted this killer sketch on his desk, couldn't help sneaking a peek. Wow, that's awesome, I said, pointing at the drawing. Thanks, man, he said with a shy smile. It's kinda my zen thing, you know? We plopped down on his bed and man, you could cut the tension with a knife. He reached over and his fingers brushed mine. Instant butterflies. What's going on in that head of yours? He asked super quietly. I took a deep breath. I'm freaking out a bit, I finally spilled. Like, what are people gonna think? How's this gonna change everything? Look, he said, all chill but serious. Forget everyone else. This is just about you and me. That's all that matters. Looking at him, so sure about everything, hit me right in the feels. He had a point. Why was I letting other people's drama get in the way? Before I knew what I was doing, we were kissing again, and holy cow, it was intense. Like, couldn't get enough intense. His hands found my waist, pulled me closer, and for a hot minute, nothing else existed. But reality's a buzzkill, you know? We were definitely playing with matches here, and sooner or later, something was gonna catch fire. People are gonna find out, I said, my voice all shaky. We can't keep this on the down low forever. So what? He shot back. I'm not hiding how I feel. You shouldn't either. Brave words, but they just made me more nervous. The world can be super harsh when you don't fit in their neat little boxes. But man, looking in his eyes, I just couldn't walk away. I don't want to mess this up, I whispered. You won't, he said, squeezing my hand. We just gotta be real with each other, okay? I wanted to believe him so bad. Deep down, I knew we were in for a wild ride. But right then, with him holding me close, his heart beating against mine, I let myself think maybe, just maybe, we could pull this off. Man, walking out of his place that night hit different. Everything felt weird and kind of scary, you know? Like when you know your life's about to do a total 180. I wanted to hold on to whatever this thing was between us, but this little voice in my head kept bugging me about all the drama heading our way. The next few days? Total roller coaster. Fam. My brain couldn't make up its mind. Half of me was totally vibing with all these new feelings Aaron brought out, while the other half was freaking about what might happen. Every time my phone buzzed with his messages, my heart did this weird jump then sink thing. We started hanging more and more, sneaking in whatever time we could get. Sometimes it was just grabbing coffee and chatting about random stuff. Other times we'd go on these late-night drives to nowhere, just vibing to music with all this unspoken stuff between us. The connection? Totally there. But so was all the scary stuff. Like walking on a tightrope, but make it extra sketchy. It was super chill at night, just a few people jogging or walking their dogs. He was already there when I pulled up, just chilling against this tree, arms crossed like some movie scene. Seeing him under those streetlights? Yeah, that feeling in my chest was becoming way too familiar. You look beat, he said when I walked up. Rough day, I said, trying to smile. Hey, he said, grabbing my hand. I got you. His touch? Total game changer. Like an instant chill pill, exactly what I needed. We just walked around the park, talking about whatever came to mind. He got super excited about his art stuff, talking about drawing places he'd never been. I vented about my work drama and all the pressure. Somehow he always knew exactly what to say to make it not suck. Ever think about just saying screw it to everything? He asked, all casual-like. Screw it? Yeah, he said, stopping to look at me. Like, all the rules and stuff people expect from you. What if you just did you for once? Talk about dropping a bomb. I couldn't even look at him. Had to watch these leaves blowing around instead. Not that simple, I mumbled. The good stuff never is, he shot back. all soft but serious. We crashed on this bench at the edge of the park, just soaking in the night vibes. Aaron leaned back, looking up at the sky, and let out this big sigh. "You're kinda confusing, you know that?" he said after a bit. "How come?" "Like, you're such a boss at everything else," he said, turning to me. "But when it comes to what you want, you act like you're scared to grab it." Ouch, but true. I'd spent so long trying to be what everyone wanted that I'd totally forgotten how to just be me. "Maybe I am scared," I admitted. "Like, what people will think, losing my job and stuff?" He grabbed my hand again, holding it just right. "You can't live for other people forever," he said. "Eventually you gotta pick their opinions or your happiness." Simple words, but they hit different coming from him. Looking at him, seeing how real he was being, I couldn't breathe for a sec. The walls I'd built, starting to crack. We didn't talk much after that. Just sat there, holding hands. Small thing, but it said everything. For the first time, I started thinking maybe we weren't totally crazy. But life has this way of messing with perfect moments. People started noticing us hanging out. First it was just whispers, then coworkers making comments, neighbors giving us looks. I tried to play it cool at first, but it got pretty obvious people were catching on. This one time, leaving the coffee shop, my coworker cornered me. "Hey, can I ask you something?" Super casual tone, but her face said different. "Yeah." My chest got all tight. "Who's that kid you're always with? Been seeing you two around." Talk about a gut punch. My brain went into panic mode, trying to come up with something that wouldn't raise red flags. "Just a friend," I said super quick, kind of mentoring him. She gave me this look like, "Yeah, right," but dropped it. First time I really got how sketchy our situation was. When I told Aaron later, he got all fired up. "Who gives a crap what they think?" he said, pacing around my living room. "Not their business." "Maybe not," I said, trying to keep cool. "But they're gonna talk. And if people find out, if they find out—" "What?" he cut in, getting heated. "You'll lose your fancy job? Your rep? That what's freaking you out?" "Yeah," I said, voice getting stuck. "And it's not just me, they'll judge you too. They'll say I messed you up or something." He stopped pacing, his face softening. "That what you think this is? A mistake?" "No way," I said quick, voice shaking. "But that's how they'll see it, and I can't protect you from that." "Don't need protecting," he said, coming closer. "Need you to stop hiding, stop acting like this isn't real." His words hit hard, like really hard. He was right. I was hiding from everyone, even myself, but losing everything? Scary AF. "I'm so lost here," I whispered. "Don't gotta have it all figured out," he said, softer now. "Just gotta try." So we did. For weeks we tried to make it work, sneaking around, trying to balance this crazy connection with keeping it on the down low. We found these little moments, hidden spots where we could just be us. But keeping secrets? That stuff wears you down. Then one night, sitting in my car outside town, Aaron hit me with this look I'd never seen, kinda sad but determined. "Can't do this anymore," he said, voice cracking. "All this hiding and sneaking, it's not enough." My chest got tight. "What are you saying?" "Saying we gotta choose," he said, looking right at me. "Either we face this together or we bail." The thought of losing him? Worst. But coming clean? Also terrifying. Looking at him in the dim dashboard light, I knew I couldn't let go. "I want to fight for us," I said, somehow keeping my voice steady. He finally smiled, squeezing my hand. "Then let's fight," he said. Simple as that. It wasn't gonna be easy, duh. We had no clue what was coming. But sitting there holding hands, I felt this tiny spark of hope. Because whatever happened next, we had each other. And honestly, that felt worth everything. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe for more authentic stories like this one. Your support means everything to us. Don't forget to enable notifications and share your thoughts in the comments. Every story matters. See you in the next video. Purple Heart.